everybody, welcome back to TR Muscle. Today's video we got something, a different vehicle, so let's see about it. This is my 2004 F-250 Lariat with a Powerstroke 6.0 in it, and I know Powerstroke 6.0, it's gonna have those problems, right? Well, not only as I discover them, I'll fix them, but show y'all how I'm fixing everything. But today we're doing some just preventative maintenance, pretty much. My transmission shifts kind of weird, so it's got an external filter, and I believe there's an internal one too, but it's got this external filter, and so I've got a new filter for this. I'm going to replace it, as well as top off the transmission. It appears to be slightly low, and there's more to come in this video. But if you can see, it's all every housing on this truck was like made out of plastic, and it all cracks and falls apart right where you need your socket to go. So if I can't get my socket on here, I do have an oil filter wrench that's just a rubber band and a handle, and that might be able to take some of these housings off. But for now, I'm going to try to wrench it, and if it doesn't work, then we'll go to that. Just in case, I've got a pan here to pick up anything that falls out. I saw a video and it didn't seem like much came out, so I'm hoping that's the case here. But yeah, see, it's a 22 millimeter, and see, it's just making it even worse. Well, that's not plastic, I don't think, but it's still cracked. So let me go get my rubber wrench and see if it works. Part of why this is the rubber wrench, it's Craftsman or whatever. Part of why I like it is that it's universal. What I don't like is that it's not as strong as other ones, but as like a solid metal one, but it still does the job on most average things. Want to make sure I'm going the right way here. And the other trouble is getting it just tight enough so that it grips properly. And I hope it actually does grip on this. Well, this might not be the solution. Let me go see if I have a smaller one that could work. I really don't want to put an actual tooth wrenched on this and just scratch it up and even make dents. Watched a deal real quick because I couldn't get a filter wrench to go on there. Well, I could, but it's not enough. So watched it, and they said use an impact on it. One, because the whole mounting bracket twists as you try to work on it. And in my situation, I think I can just push it hard enough onto here where the solid bit that hasn't broken off yet, it'll stay on there. So I'm going to give it a whirl. Oh crap. They really made it hard on me. See, all these pieces are just coming off because of how it's designed. And to hold a 22, not comfortably, well, like it's loose. Now I'm getting a bit worried about not being able to put it back on. I'm gonna probably tap it in and see what that does. I switched over to a real impact, and I'm still gonna tap it on a little to see how much that can help. Well, crap. Changing plans. Because of how hard that filter is to take off, and my inability to take it off currently, without more than likely breaking it, I'm going to leave it so that the truck is still movable, but I have a new one on order, and we should all be good to go. So I'll do that later, but transmission is slightly low. I'm going to add a little more ATF, and hopefully I don't have to do too much driving before before that new housing comes in. So this is where we're going to be for now on this. I'm just going to drop a little ATF in and see how it does. Now, this might sound dumb, but based off what I can read online, I don't have a manual yet, that the way you add transmission fluid is through the dipstick. So, which, I mean, I see it as a plausible way. It just seems like it's a small hole to put all that through. I'm just gonna pull the dipstick. I'm gonna put a funnel in there that fits into that hole, like so, and then send it down. Steady hand. Of course, now we're gonna have to wait a second for it to go all the way down, and I'm gonna turn it on here in a second so that the fluid actually goes up into the transmission where it's supposed to be and not just at the bottom, because I tested it like this morning and I was like, or yesterday, and I was like, man, someone overfilled that transmission. It's been sitting for a while, so all of it just went all the way down to the bottom. Please excuse how dirty it is. Pollen just fell, well, on the outside. So, and I haven't driven this in a while, so it's just been collecting some dust. All right, let's see how it shifts and accelerates. It's not going to be perfect because that filter's still bad, but it should be a bit better. It's a bit better. So obviously my transmission was slightly low, so it's good to know that now. But it's not perfect. It's a little smoother now, especially if you're kind of going slow. But it also wants to catch up at a higher RPM for some reason. When you're just trying to cruise, it sounds like I'm trying to blow it. So that's around 2,500 RPMs, which I don't know much. That seems a little high just for, you know, if I was just trying to accelerate normally. It's shifted there, so it's better. It's better than it was. So when that other filter housing comes in, we'll put that on and then we'll give it another test, I guess. Good morning, everyone. For the 6.0, it's been a day, but last night I got a package. I ordered a coolant filter kit here, and we're gonna go install it. And it needs this for multiple reasons. These are sandcast blocks, and so there's bits of sand still stuck in the block, and they get released and stuff as you run it. So, and even if it wasn't a sandcast block, I can see the purpose behind this, just to keep that whole system clean. But because of the sand, it causes stuff like flash steaming, and which can cause to head gasket issues. So this is a preventative measure in order to keep this truck on the road and happy. Of course, you might be able to tell it's super rainy. So I'm just going to be doing this in the rain, I guess. I mean, it involves coolant. I would probably get wet anyways. But it's not always fun to lay down in the wet. I believe this kit is designed to mount right here, and then it's going to go into a couple of places. I'm going to have to review it just in case. But this is where the actual filter sits, I believe. And then you have a hose with a T in it that comes across to here, and it also has another place it's supposed to go. Here's what you get in the box I ordered. It's a Moto coolant filter kit for the 6.0. It comes with a Wix coolant filter, It's got some silicone hoses. These specifically are the T, and then another T just to tap into the cooling system there. And then you got hose clamps, and then you've got the where your filter screws onto, the mounting bracket, and then a couple of connections so that everything comes together, and then a shut-off valve, 2 shut-off valves. So it's a pretty simple kit otherwise. So we'll just go about putting it in. I know that long T1 goes here. Alright, so I'm figuring out how the housing here and this bracket's gonna go. So this bracket, there's this post here which goes to the core support and I believe holds up the intercooler. But this bracket's gonna go here, and the bottom slips. Let's see if I can get you all in there. The bottom slips down into this hole, and it's gonna go over that stud. So we know which orientation it's gonna be at. So now it's a matter of putting on our housing, and I believe we want it loose for the fact that the holes that enter the ins and outs are gonna we want to just angle them just right. So I've got it loose on there just so that putting it in and getting all the hoses situated will do fine. I do need to put on our fittings before I actually install it in there, and those are gonna need a little bit of sealant on them. Some Teflon is what I'm gonna use just on there so that they seal good and don't leak all my coolant out. I'm gonna install the ball valves here. I'm just gonna take the ball valve, got some Teflon thread sealant, and then you gotta, when you're doing Teflon, you gotta make sure you know which direction you're gonna be going so that you can install it in a way that it doesn't come off as you're trying to install it. Hopefully I can get this right on the first time. And it shouldn't take much, but a round or two. Good. Alright. I believe these are the exact same ball valves, so we can just put them on either one. Either side, the in or the out. To where it's straight. And really you can go slightly back on them. I shouldn't go that tight. There we go. They're not going to thread all the way in because that's just the thread in the housing's design, but now I got my ball valve and it's nice and sealed. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Got my 2 ball valves in now. Now that I think about it, you do have to pay attention to which orientation you put this in, because you could have this ball valve hang out here or there. I mean, it could hit this, but just a little pay attention there. So now I need to take off that that nut off that stud. Ah, interesting. The whole thing comes off. This is I didn't know this, but it's just one whole bolt. All right, so now I'm gonna put our bracket in. Make sure it goes into that hole on the bottom. And then thread our bolt through. And then just tighten it down. Probably gonna have to get a wrench now. Now you can see why it's adjustable, so that you can get it just right, so that you don't interfere with anything around it. Like You can see here, fan shroud would interfere with this if I went too far one way. So, well, now I've kind of screwed myself with it. This line should be underneath of it. So I guess I'll fix that real quick. Redid it. Got the this positive wire to now go back onto the same stud and underneath it. So now is the next step where we connect the lines. Now we're gonna take off this hose here. You haven't relieved the pressure off of your system, then you might be in a bad time if you pull off this hose without doing so. So take off the hose on each end. Boom. Alright, there we go. There's that one. Save the clamps, of course. We're going to need them for the new hose. We're going to take the new hose here. Make sure the clamps are loose enough. This hose is a little bit thicker than the old stuff. And then just put it on each end. And then just stick it back onto the nipples. Of course, when you're doing something like this, make sure that when you put on the clamp, it's just behind the little raise in the nipple so that you actually get a good seal. And you shouldn't have to go crazy tight on these. Let the hose do the work. If it's the right size and you're right behind that raise in the nipple there, should do just fine. Alright, and then now it's just the other side. Don't confuse it with the other hose. Based off the orientation and what I can see out online, this is the out for the filter. So we're gonna put it here, but we're gonna need a clamp on it too. The clamps that you'll use over here are provided in the kit. In this kit, I don't know if you have a different kit, I can't vouch for it. And then be smarter than me than I just did. Put the clamp on before you put the hose on. Again, they don't need to be too tight. You don't want to ruin your nice new hose you paid for. And then that hose will just kind of make its way over here and sit there. Okay, so now you need some pliers. We're going to take the heater line off here, and I hope you can get better pliers than me. There we go. That thing's kind of hard to get off, but now we can pull this line off. Well, there's coolant that comes out of there. How is it coming up? Oh, the radiator's higher than it. So, in this case, I'm going to be quick about it. And then grab... This is actually going to go... It goes right here, yeah. I'm going to grab I need to take that clamp off, put it onto here, and I need to grab the new nipple that connects it back to this hose, and put that on. So I'm going to try to do that in one swift movement. Maybe try to grab something to put it in there too. Whew. Okay, I got it on. Got this one on too. It's a bit of a piece of work to get that in. This is your vacuum actuated valve there. If that's not, if you find that your heat's not working or something, make sure that this vacuum line is hooked up in there. Also, because of the added length, this was pushed up against the exhaust of the turbo, and I just could not live with myself with that. I trimmed off a bit of the hose that goes back there, just so that it would fit right. If you do cut it, make sure you cut it straight. I was slightly at an angle, and I could still get the clamp on, but it would be if I do get a leak, that's the first place I'm going to be looking. But either way, now we need to make sure that everything's going to be good here. Ideally, that we would know if the ball valves were open or closed, but I don't know. I don't know if they're open or closed, so I need to look into that. It's either this is going to be open or one way or the other is going to be open. But now that we're settled here, we can actually get this exactly how we want it. I might trim this hose, I'm not sure yet, but I just want to make sure that it works before I trim it. And then we can tighten this down and then put on the filter. Okay, so anytime I have a filter, I don't care what filter it is, fuel, coolant, or oil filter, of course, I always like to do something specific with it. So in this case, well, in all those cases, I like to put grease on it. You can really use any grease, but this is what I've got available. So I just take a little bit on my finger, not much, and then when it's on the O-ring here, I just put a thin amount on it. I want to make sure this stuff seals, but that's not the only thing I'm doing here. So I'm putting it onto the O-ring. I'm going to grab a touch more, not much, just a little dollop, and I'm going to put it on the threads here. What is this going to do? This is going to be, next time I take it off, it's not going to be the world's most impossible thing to take off. It's going to be easy. It's going to come off, and that'll be it. No arguing about it. This also keeps the life of the O-ring, and also keeps everything in there. It keeps it kind of looped. Now, some of this will get into the coolant, and I'm not worried about it. It'll dissolve and go into its places and such. It's such a little amount, it's going to be okay. Same thing with fuel and oil, which this is even better for in there. Alright, so just gonna feed it down through here. Get up to the line. I do have a AC line that's just a little in the way. Just push it down. And then thread that boy on. There we go. Of course, just hand tight. You don't need any more than that. There you go. That's all you need. You don't need to go any tighter than that. You don't need to put a wrench on it or anything. Just hand tight with the grease. And in theory, you could, with a strong grip, take it off with your hands afterwards, but you still probably will just need a small nudge with a wrench and then it'll come off. But there we go. That's installed. Now I need to make sure that my valves are in the open position. My assumption is that this is the open position, pointed straight out, but I'm just gonna need to go and double check that just to be safe. So on some examples they have it pointed right out. I bet you're able. I would be able to tell eventually if it's filling or not, but either way, because of all what that came out is now I have low coolant level, which it's sandy and dirty in there, so I'm glad we have a filter on it now. But I'm going to need to get some coolant and top that off. I don't know what coolant ratio these like to run, but I do have some pre-mixed 50-50. It is not the red, this is the green, but that's what was already in here anyways. I do want to do a drain and switch to the red sooner than later, but for now, since I already still have all this in here and I'm not doing a flush right now, we're going to go ahead and fill up with this. And and it's gonna need to fill up the filter and all the lines that we drained from, so it's okay if it's a little overfilled. I got some more. This is actually concentrate, but that'll increase our ratio just a little. But I'm fine with concentrate. A little high. A little bit more corrosion preventive. And then whatever comes down, I'll fill up with some clean water. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it entering the filter here, so that means we're doing something right. I guess it's coming from over here, but yeah, and our fluid's going down. Well, I must have lost a lot of fluid, but that's okay. I'm gonna get some water and try to get that ratio back to close to 50. Got my clean filtered water. Distilled would be best. Now I'm gonna start the truck. One, look for leaks, but two, watch this reservoir just to be sure that I'm not starving the system of coolant. An easy way to know after it would warm up, to know if that filter was still bad, I mean, if our valves were still closed, would be that if it wasn't getting hot as like the coolant was. So if I'm gonna let it warm up and see if that filter gets hot, then I'll know that they're open. All right, took it for a quick spin, got that coolant up to temp, and she's hot. So definitely going through the filter now, so that's good to hear. So I guess that's it for this part. Filters in, all connected, and I'm seeing no leaks anywhere, so I would say that's a job well done so far. There's a little bit of pressure under this cap, but not crazy, which is exactly pretty much what you want to see. There's always going to be a little bit of pressure, but not much. If there's a lot of pressure, you have potential head gasket issues, so good luck to you if you have that problem. But other than that, sometime today, probably in the evening, so I'll do it tomorrow, but I've got new charge pipes coming, which will hopefully fix my my boost leak. We'll put those in a bit later, and then I also have the that filter housing coming in for the external filter on the transmission, and then once that's there, it will have a better shifting, a better running, and a more protected 6.0. Another day. Got this yesterday. These are the new charge pipes and boots that are gonna go in here. I believe these aren't stock, but they're not. I'm not happy with them so far. At least the boots. That's the main purpose for this. But I thought might as well get new charge pipes. They came in a kit. But also I would like to mention, yes, I was dumb yesterday. Yes, it is 50-50. And I could have just looked right here. It was right in front of me, but I didn't. But we're 50-50, so that's good. And then I also have some additives to put in there. You can get additives from Motorcraft for the Powerstroke and everything. I haven't worked out the ratio yet, but I mean, it's just a simple look it up and then do the math. Same thing, I have an oil additive that's recommended for these. I'll show them a bit later. But I want to get these charge pipes on and get this situated to where I don't have a boost leak anymore. You can definitely see that clamp. It's not even on the boot over there, so there's a major problem just right there. But this should all help fix that. I've got new clamps that should hold this down. And then I saw someone on YouTube who used these same charge pipes and boots, and they put like a turbo that was like the largest turbo you can put on this engine, and these boots did fine. So since it's slightly higher than stock in size, but these should fix my boost leak problem. So I'm gonna first things first, we got to start by removing the air filter and intake pipes here, so we can just get below it. And we'll start on this side. I believe this is the cool side, and then that's the hot side, because you compress the air, it heats up, goes through the intercooler, cools down, and then comes back out. But we'll start here. I know I'm gonna have a small fight with it. It appears that down here is one of them, and then we got a second connection here, obviously. And I think I'm gonna leave this bracket here. It's part of the battery tray, and I don't want to pull it unless I have to. I guess I'll find out. But I'm gonna loosen off here and loosen up there, and it should be able to snake out. Oh yeah, look at that. These boots aren't even tight on these things, so I'm kind of happy that I'm doing this. I bet that was just a boost leak right there. Ooh, we got goo in it too. Don't know where that's coming from. No, the lower side. And then, in theory, yep. Okay, she's loose at least. Now it's whether or not we can snake it out. There we go. This is an original Ford clamp, which I hear that there's better options out there, and these don't clamp too well. We get to replace these anyways, so I'm fine with it. While I'm here, I'm gonna remove this lower one completely. Got new boots. Ford boots. Thermopole. At least on the cold side here, we have regular Ford boots, but they're pretty flexible and slightly widened, but there's a ton of whatever that is in this. And I don't know what causes that. Is that oil coming from the turbo? I guess we'll see more when we get to the hot side. But well, we're replacing these anyways, so it's not. At least we'll fix this issue. I do need to remember that the long side goes that way. Ford boot, but aftermarket clamp with the spring, which I believe is why these aftermarket clamps are better, because they have a spring to hold that tension better. But either way, I believe this one's getting replaced too anyways. Look in there, there's There's oil. I've got to have an issue with the turbo then. The turbo's got to be leaking oil. That's not good. We'll, like I said, we'll see more when we get down to this side, which is next. We'll get to that side next. Coolant filter does make it a little more in the way, but we should be able to get it out without pulling that, unless I have to, and I'll let y'all know. There we go. This pipe out, another forward boot, and we got oil in here too. Still got the top one to take off up there. Got it off. There's oil in there though, but at the turbo, I mean, there's a little oil, but not much. Oh no, there's some in there. Let's take a look in there. It doesn't look too bad, it doesn't look crazy, but also that's right where all the pressure's coming from, so it probably is pushing it pretty good. I am slightly convinced that this turbo isn't doing great, but that's it's gonna have to be a future problem, not a today problem. So what I want to do is go back to a stock Garrett, but and I don't even know what's in here right now. I'll have to look into it. But for now, we're just going to keep doing our charge pipes. I'm going to clean up this end here so it's not slippery or anything, get that oil out. It might be just from installation, but we'll have to keep that in the back of our minds as we continue on this vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and grab some brake clean this, clean the other spots that are still on the truck, and then go ahead and we'll start putting the new stuff in. Just going to take a non-oily rag, give it a spritz, wipe it down, and then call it good. Alright, that's the last one. So now we can go on to installing the pipes and boots. So these are my new charge pipes, and what I'm gonna say is important is don't touch here or get any oils here, because that's just basically lubrication for your boot to come off easier. So we want to minimize how much we touch at the ends here, and this here is good. Unless you're annoyed that you have finger marks all over it, but I think in this case I'm going to, at least the ones that go to the intercooler, I'm going to install those already onto the pipes and then install the top ones afterwards. Reason being, well, at least this one's just one straight piece, but this one is at an angle, and I'll put this on at whatever it requires when I get up there. But the rest of these we can put on right now. These two boots appear to be completely identical. So I'm gonna leave. I can just choose one and put it in. And then, as you can see here, new clamps with the spring. Every single one of them has it. So we are good on the that front. Now the bigger question is just finding the ones that are the correct size for these boots. They are labeled, and I need the 2 largest ones for these. Well, the 4 largest ones for these, and then this will be the next size down, and then this will be another size down. This says 72 by 80, this says 84 by 92. This one's larger than this one, so I'll put this to the side. This one's 90 by 98, so this is the an even bigger one. Figured it out. These two are not the same. This side has a bigger opening on one side, so I'm just gonna have to keep that in mind. That's gonna be for our 90 by 84 by 90. That's going to be for our 90 by 98. So, just got to remember where that goes. And I believe this goes on to the hot side. So, I mean, I'll double check it, but I believe that's where it's going to go. So one of these with the larger opening goes right here on the intercooler on the hot side. It's the only one that will fit right there. So, glad to figure that out. I'm just going to go ahead and install this one on here. Make sure you get the right clamp. In this case 82 by 92. Go ahead and put it on there beforehand, and then also think about where you're putting this in the vehicle so that you can get to it later. So I'm going to put it this way so it's an easier to get to position if I were to take it off. It's tight and snug, not easy, which is going to be good. Means that its own friction is holding it on, and the clamp doesn't have to do near as much work. Then I'm going to get the pipe all the way to where the bellows start, or these indents start, just to give it that enough surface area to really get on there. Then I'm going to feel inside, right where that lip, that it's right on the other side of it. I'm going to feel that my clamp is right on the other side of that lip, and then we're going to tighten it down, and we know that we're getting the best seal and strength because it's right, not on the lip, but right next to it, so it can actually kind of tighten the boot on the lip. And now I'm going to try to do my best to slip the hot side in, and then make sure you get your other clamp on there before you put it on. I know it's annoying when you have to go back and find the clamp. You can either put it on the boot like this, or go ahead and slip it down over and past where the boot's going to lay on the intercooler there. And then in this case, my clamp's in the wrong position, so I'm going to go ahead and take in mind where it's at and pull this out and readjust so that it's easier to get to later. Alright, try again. And it's important to get as close to the lip as possible so that you know you have as much on there to get the best seal. A couple hours later and a lot of convincing, she's in. I did have a problem with this. I bet this is possible to make work, but it needs significant modification or cutting really to make it work. But I've got the original on there. It's seated fine. I've got the clamps right. I think it's going to be okay for now. If I have a leak, I know that's where I need to look next. But I just couldn't get this one to fit. It's either it's not flexible enough or what. But and this angle, it needs to be almost less at an angle. But I've got it. in a way that'll work. And now it's just time to go to the cool side, which is going to be the same stuff, just on this side instead. Okay, now we can try to snake in the new line there, the new charge pipe. If you have it in the right orientation, it goes in real easy, compared to the wrong orientation where you have to work real hard. So just remember that. Now just gotta get full size seated, and we'll be good to go. And put on the air filter and such. Okay, there it is, completely installed. I would like to mention, make sure these are at the right angle so that when you close your hood, it doesn't put a dent in it. This is not even the original hood to this truck. A mechanic before had these pointed straight up. They closed the hood and put a dent right in the middle. So just be careful about that, but these should be low enough that we're good. And then I've got an aftermarket air filter, so I'm going to make sure to see, I have these pointed furthest away I can, but still enough that I can reach my socket into, so that air filter actually doesn't sit there and rub and get hurt on it, because it already has a couple of, like, it's been beaten. I need a new one is what I think, but it's a reusable one, so I'm going to keep using it for now until I can get another one. But other than that, it's in. I'm gonna take this line off and try to reroute it. I didn't think about it when I put this on, but now that I thought about it. But I'll redo it and reinstall it, and then we'll be done. I'll put the air intake back on, and then we'll start it up. Got the filter back in, but I will say it's a pretty tight fit now. Hits right here, which this is all aftermarket anyways, so it's expected. It's not like it's a stock one. But also, I think this is the long filter, which theoretically gets more air. But if I were to get just the regular round filter, it would probably fit in here better, and I could adjust this. But for now, this is what I got. I've got it tight, but this is back here, this is actually at an angle, and then same thing here, but it's all sealed at least now. So now it's time to go ahead and start it. I'm going to clean off my tools real quick, and then we'll give it a start and see what happens. Well, appears it worked. I can see it a little bit moving up there while I'm revving it, and you can hear it almost. I don't know if it comes off on camera, but you can hear the air coming out of the exhaust almost a bit more, which is always nice to hear. That's, I think, much better than it was. So that's very exciting, and I'm excited to see how it drives now instead. Although we still have that transmission filter, which would change how it's gonna feel, but I think I'm gonna do my actual test drive with the filter done instead. But that's the new charge pipes installed. All right, so additives. These are the two. These are the two that I know of. Arch oil, friction modifier. This is specifically for specifically for 6.0s and 7.3s. It cleans up the ejector stiction. There's oil that goes right through the injectors in this, pretty much, and this will also it tells you everything: reduce friction, engine noise and vibration, help cold starts, and everything. Really, I got this from the original owner that I got the truck from, and I think it's what I'm gonna go with. It's generally good to stick with what's always been used in vehicles, unless they're just dumb choices. Then I would change it. Then Motorcraft, of course, diesel cooling system additive. If my math serves me correct, it's just over a pint for the 27 liters that this truck takes. So this, I'm just gonna put this one bottle in, save the other, and then next time I do an oil change and everything, coolant's getting flushed, this will come out of it, and I'll put the correct amount in it. But so these are my additives, and then this can actually go into more things than just the oil. But you can see here, 16 ounces of AR9100 treats 13 to 16 quarts of engine oil. For all Powerstrokes, use 16 ounces. So this truck gets the 16 ounces. And I believe I'm a little high on my oil already. So this will probably increase my oil pressure a little more. It's not much, it's not even a quart. It's just 16 ounces, so I think it'll be fine. And then the coolant additive, not only will it help clean some stuff out, but the filter is going to help too, so we're giving it all the opportunity to be all happy. Look, no pressure under that cap. It's been sitting for a couple hours, but still no pressure under the cap. So we'll go ahead and add this coolant additive. Drink it on up, buddy. Now it's the engine oil additive. The reason why this wasn't put in on my last oil change was, well, I didn't know I needed it. I hadn't looked at the old papers yet, which is dumb on me. Always look at your old information, even if you think it's dumb. And but now we can add it. I'm even close to another oil change, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it. Better to be safe than sorry. I'm gonna mix this one up this time. I don't think it says to necessarily, but it doesn't hurt. Alright, that's mixed up. Come on there. Stupid plastic caps. Okay. Then with a good eye, should be able to pour that sucker in. I'm basically considering this stuff the equivalent of the Lucas oil thickener goo stuff, the Lucas goo, and I'm just going to consider it the same stuff, but just 6.0 happy. But we'll see what it does. I mean, I probably won't hear a difference until it cycles a couple of times and really mixes in. But there you go. Those are my additives that I'm putting in this for now until I hear otherwise. And I definitely need to do a coolant change. I definitely need to do an oil change coming up, and I probably need to do all my filters again soon. But I'm gonna I'm happy where I'm at. I think I did it at 22,000 or 25,000 miles ish. So we're still kind of in the clear. But there you go. And still waiting on that transmission filter. But once we get that, then we'll have a nice and happy vehicle. Last time I ran it, this still got hot, so that's good. Coolant's definitely coming through here. And actually, you can see I rerouted my line here. If you do turn these, it does turn off the flow. So in the middle is the right option there. And I did take it for a drive without y'all. Apologies. One of the most common places for this thing to leak is this right here. A lot of the times this is where it's gonna pop off, either this or back there. And so I came back, retying this, gave it a few more cranks, and then tried to seat this one. Got it on the lip all the way around. It actually, my pipe there is actually at an angle, so it being at an angle is fine. But I'm much happier with this. Around 2,500 RPMs, it would do the whistle, but we're all good now. So, and she runs happier. Right? You can kind of feel it already. We'll go for a test drive as soon as that transmission filter comes in. But things are looking up here. Back with the 6.0. I had gotten my new housing. It's actually already in there. That's the old housing and filter, but got my new housing in, installed it, and finally got the other one off. Turns out you just need a stronger person than me and to pull the tire, and you can actually hang on to it and turn it. But got that done. It's in there tight all the way down, new O-ring. Put a little bit of grease on the O-rings and threads, not only to help it come off later, but to keep it sealed. And I don't know how bad grease is really in there, if it will clog the filter up fast or not, but I hope I didn't put too much, you know. But we'll see. Once it heats up, it'll probably melt and go through. But hopefully that helps some of the shifting. This is the old filter here, and that's supposed to be white. I don't know. Yeah, there's gray matter coming off the whole thing there. So it's probably well due for the filter change there. Here's the old housing. It fell in some dirt, but that's the inside. It had a little bit more stuff in it. It kind of came out there. These are aluminum housings, and that's why this cast aluminum, so that's why this end breaks. So you got to be careful with that. But we got it out. Just take some big pliers and a strong person. I'm glad to change it. I'll probably change it either next oil change or the oil change right after that. Yeah, you can see the glitter just running off of that thing. Let's see if we can. Yeah. So it needed a change. And soon I want to do a whole fluid change, but not at that point yet. But it's starting to rain, so I'm gonna clean up all my stuff. Maybe go for a drive real quick, just to, if we can see if we feel a difference, and then that'll probably be the rest of this video. All right, let's go take it for a test drive and see how that all affected it. Alright, as soon as these cars come by, we're going to go ahead and get out, do a little bit of a pull, see how well it's shifting now. Alright, got up to 45. Was pretty easy. I was a little hard on it, but not very hard, like 3/4 throttle max. And it shifted, it was smooth, it was nice. I feel like it was an improvement. The other thing was adding more fluid to it, and also working it out recently. I've been driving it to and from work. It's only a little bit from my house, and that really helped it. it kind of helped smooth it out. And I think it was obviously low, and this filter will help it a whole lot too. So I would say that's a success. I got the new charge pipes on, new boots. We got new additives in the oil and coolant, and then we also have the new coolant filter, and swapped the transmission filter as well. So I would say overall success. And you know, with any turbo diesel, pretty much you do have to kind of search and find, and the boost leaks are going to pop up in and out and everything, and you just kind of have to try tying down this side, tying down that side, and see what helps. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in another video. I should have a couple other videos out, some talking about body work on my 1974 F-250, some body work on there, and then working on electrical on the alternator on the Fiat. So I would appreciate if you go and check those out, and hope to see you for another video.